Francis Ngannou fires back at Dana White. UFC newcomer Themba Gorimbo appreciates Colby Covington for his kindness. Michael Bisping chokes out entertainer Steve-O. And Dana White and Dustin Poirier talk about the BMF title fight.
Based on what I know about the deal, which is not much, it makes no sense to me. And he obviously didn't want to take a chance against John Jones. And after we saw what happened with Cyril Gane, you know, I don't blame him. I think the outcome would have been exactly the same. And I'm sure most of you do, and I'm sure Francis does too. You know, and the media makes it sound like that I'm saying that he's afraid of him. I don't think that he's afraid of anybody. It's just the fact that he doesn't want to take any risk.
The video you just watched is Dana White talking about Francis Ngannou's PFL contract, and once again accusing the Cameroonian of running away from tough competition. For those who don't know, Ngannou's deal with the PFL is worth millions. Not only will he have the opportunity to compete in MMA, but boxing as well. Moreover, he will serve as the president of PFL Africa. Now, if that doesn't make sense to Dana, of course. However, Ngannou thinks Dana needs to mind his own business. Quote, "What's your problem with me? 1, I completed my contract, was a free agent, and chose to walk away. You didn't release me. 2, I hate taking risks. That's why I defended my title to fulfill my contract with no ACL or MCL. 3, the reason I fought 3 times in 3 years is because you wanted to control my deal, sign a new one, and freeze me out. I owe these guys 3 fights a year. Isn't that what you say? What happened? I always asked for and never said no to any fight in the last 3 years. I'm finally getting paid and respected and have a deal that's fair and equal for all parties. Why are you so against me being free and happy? If you ever really want that John Jones fight to happen, reach out to PFL CEO Pete Murray, whenever, wherever." Conor McGregor also had his say on the deal. Although the Irishman is happy for Ngannou, he believes there's nothing exciting about it.
I'm happy for Francis, first of all, fair play to be stuck. He's done his thing. I still think he should have come to a resolution with the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Who's he going to fight? Who's he going to fight that's going to capture the general public? There's no one. There's no matchup that I can think of, that I can even say to myself that is going to do big. Like I said, I'm happy for him. I don't see a buzz on an announcement.
And Colby Covington, he's such a great guy, man. Colby Covington, sometimes he'll bring food for me at the gym, you know. And people say what they say about him, but that guy is a great man. You have to know him to kind of know him. Just like me, you have to know me to kind of know me, you know. At the end of the day, it's business.
After a losing start to his UFC career, Themba Gorimbo had a tough time surviving in the United States. Prior to his victory against Takashi Sato at UFC Vegas 73, he only had $7 in his bank account, and he had to rely on help from others to make ends meet.
So it's been a roller coaster for me. I didn't have money. If you look in my bank account, there's $7 right now. In my bank account, there's $7, you know? And I have to enjoy this. I don't know how much I'm getting paid, actually, because you know what? All I focused on this fight was to get the win. The win was the most important thing. Money is a byproduct of winning.
Now, Colby Covington may seem like an absolute jerk, considering the way he carries himself in front of cameras, but he's a pretty decent guy in real life. Themba Gorimbo's statement simply adds to it. Here's what Joe Rogan once said about Covington.
What people don't know about Colby, what you know about Colby, is when you're with him in person, super nice guy.
Oh, he's actually soft-spoken.
He's a great guy.
But he's had dinner at the house. We had elk, and just polite, soft-spoken.
Yeah.
My wife and daughter, everybody's there, just being as nice as can be.
He's a gentleman.
Everybody knows Steve-O has a knack for doing stunts, but voluntarily getting choked out by a former UFC world champion may be a bit too much. Following UFC Vegas 73, Steve-O and Nelk Boys member Steve Will Do It entered the octagon with Michael Bisping and Marvin Vettori. Bisping and Vettori had a sort of race to see who chokes out their adversaries sooner. Bisping was tasked to choke Steve-O out, whereas Vettori had his arms wrapped around Steve Will Do It's neck. When asked why he'd let a UFC fighter choke him out, Steve-O said, and I quote, "Because I am an attention whore." Fair enough. Here's a separate video of Steve Will Do It getting choked out by Marvin Vettori. Would you voluntarily let a UFC fighter choke you out?
Dustin Poirier takes on another former champion, Justin Gaethje, for the vacant BMF title.
Yep, you guys heard it right. Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje will take each other on at UFC 291 for the vacant BMF title, which was previously held by Jorge Masvidal. But why is the UFC bringing the symbolic belt back?
Masvidal retired, so we put the BMF up. You have no idea how many of these fighters want to fight for the BMF title. They all want to fight for that belt, so it's fun, it's different, so we'll do it again. Oh, I mean, when you think about coming up with it the first time, those are the two right guys, and so are these. These are the two right guys for that too, and you know, whether that thing's in play or not in play, that fight is what it is, but everybody wants that belt, so what the hell.
Jorge Masvidal won the BMF belt by beating Nate Diaz by a doctor's stoppage at UFC 244, and Gaethje and Poirier will fight for it at UFC 291. Their first fight was an absolute barnbuster, so the upcoming one shouldn't be any different. Why did Poirier accept a fight against a fighter he's already beat?
Because I need it. That's where I do my best. That's where I'm the most motivated. That's where I learn the most about myself and about combat sports. That's where greatness is, man. In that uncomfortable, and that's what I try to do: put myself in that fire. And this is one of those fights that do it. You know, if this fight doesn't get you excited, you're not a fan of combat sports. You know, turn off YouTube right now and stop watching this show, because this fight, you know, is what I'm going to pick the war hat up for. I know what I'm going into. You know, it's a head-on collision, and I'm not turning away. That's what this fight is, and that's what I want. That excites me, dude. It gets me pumped up right now.
Poirier really likes the idea of the BMF belt, but even without the symbolic title on the line, he thinks his fight against Gaethje would easily headline UFC 291, or any other pay-per-view card for that matter.
This fight, I think, could headline without a BMF title. This is an exciting fight, but that just adds more fun to it to me. You know, I would love to have that strap up there in my living room. So another accolade.
Who do you think will win the upcoming BMF title fight between Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. If you liked our video, please show us some love by subscribing and turning on notifications so that we can keep bringing you stories like the ones you just watched. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.